I met a guy there that drank rubbing alcohol. Well, he gave me a shot of that. I loved it right away. I drank every day in jail. I made my own. The thing that scared me the most was that fire. And burnt the shit out of my nose.
You just can't say no to it. If you're bored, have a drink. Then it's a disease, and it gets a hold of you, and it's really hard to shake.
I don't remember my first drink, but I remember my first blackout when I was 7 years old.
Like, I haven't shaken it yet, but I hope I can.
Addiction is a disease, whether it be alcohol or through drug addiction. To me, it's the exact same thing as diabetes. So if someone had problem with their blood sugar level, they would need to go on insulin. If someone has an addiction, then they need help with their addiction. And sometimes that help with their addiction is through medication, whether it be a prescribed methadone, Suboxone, or for an alcohol addiction, a managed alcohol program.
These individuals need a supportive housing environment, because a lot of them were either living together or not even, they probably didn't even have a house to go to. And so it was felt that what we needed to create was an environment where there was 24/7 support.
So this approach is very different in that if the individuals choose to drink, that option is available to them. However, it would be done in a managed way, and it wouldn't result in them losing their placement and becoming homeless.
So we realized that the need was there for something to provide a little bit of extra support to help the individuals that had a desire not to drink. The key was the individuals did not want to drink, but living on their own, they just couldn't maintain any length of sobriety.
It allows individuals an opportunity to make mistakes without being penalized.
I've got a place there, and I stay there in the front part. Yeah, well, you see, I was in the hospital. I had well, my dad used to have that problem. Hi.
Gord is a person who has an acquired brain injury. This happened at age 4.
Gord is an individual that we moved into our first home that we opened at Percy Place. When we moved in, Gord, at first things were going pretty well, but it became evident that that was non-successful.
Gord brought alcohol into the home, and you had no choice but to evict him at that point.
Which resulted in him becoming homeless and ultimately returning to hospital. The individual that really initially triggered the need for this type of housing had spent 250 days in hospital within the last year. And since he's been placed in the home, I think he's on day 45 now, and he is thriving and doing remarkably well.
Here, now, if he slips and the alcohol is involved, he's not going to be evicted.
He loves to work. So one of the jobs that he has is he comes to our main office and he will do some shredding. He'll clean the machine, he's going to vacuum around. He takes great pride in doing that. He also wants what everybody else wants. He wants good physical health and to be living in a safe, comfortable place.
And with this model, they can come into an environment, they'll have a roof over their head, they'll be able to save the community dollars because they won't be taking up beds in the hospital, so everybody benefits.
The individual's growth and independence is sort of the priority. of this type of model.
We also have to be very mindful that there are individuals whose families are also affected. It's just not the individual.
If you can imagine lying in bed at night knowing your loved one is out there living somewhere and with no one, we didn't even know where he was.
She was a good mom. If I needed her, she was there for me and stuff. And then things changed. The drinking was more noticeable and different things like that. And most of it, I want to say probably after her common law husband passed away, it got worse, incredibly worse, and to the point where it was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Oh, I have broken bones. Last October I fell and my bookcase fell on top of me and I ended up with a subdermal hematoma. Shaved my head and operated.
When she lived with me, and she started drinking again, and we had 6 months under our belt, and she started drinking, and I couldn't take it. That was it. So we kind of fell apart for, I bet you it was 5 years that I was able to it was easier for me to stop caring than to care.
My drinking alienated my family. Nobody comes to visit and you can't get out to see anybody because you don't dare drive because you've had a couple of drinks. I haven't driven for a year and a half.
It certainly has been a stressor.
So it's just not one life that we're dealing with, it's many lives.
Well, in Kingston, I lived on the streets quite a while, and I met a native guy. Actually, he was in the penitentiary with me, and we partnered up together. And we're out panhandling one night in Kingston, and we missed the liquor store closing. He said, "I'll get us a drink." He started walking to the A&P, and I'm thinking, what does A&P sell? So then he come back with a bottle of Listerine. I was drinking Listerine like it was water.
We tried so many different avenues to work with Dan and you know, get him into the recovery home or bail him out of a financial issue or that he had gotten into and was pending losing his housing, or so, and then we'd have a repayment plan, and you know, so there was constant working through problems with Dan.
It wasn't just alcohol, his drinking, rubbing alcohol, things like that would end up resulting with him being in the ICU for a while. He'd come see me, we'd be able to settle things down for a bit, and he'd end up back in hospital. And I always kept telling Dan, sooner or later, although your body's tough, it's gonna quit if you keep this up.
When the opportunity arose for this house and he agreed to try it out, you know, it was a high five situation all around because this was his chance at life.
But I was afraid there was going to be rules like the recovery center. Can't have a cigarette after 11 or before 5, and I was kind of getting scared of that. But then Andre told me, no, you still come and go as you please, do what you want. And so I figured, well, why not?
What I've seen, first of all, is their physicality has improved. The backyard is a wonderful area that they can go to. They've 2 out of the 3 have participated in wanting to make a garden. They have bicycles that they wanted, so they ride their bicycles. They're involved in cooking of meals, you know, so they feel part of something. They enjoy going to their daytime work and their therapies. So these are huge changes.
From that day that he started coming here, he hasn't drank since. And that's been about, I think it's 36 days that he's not drank, and I've seen a huge, tremendous change in Dan. His demeanor, his affect. So he's much more talkative and happy, and you know, he'll look you in the eye and being proud of what he's accomplishing and being proud of who he is, because he has nothing to be ashamed about. But he needed to feel that for himself.
The new Dan came in with a skip to his walk, a smile on his face. He is proud to tell me that he hasn't been drinking, that he loves his new home, the group. It's great to see.
This model, it's demonstrating right now that it's very cost effective. Not only cost effective, but it's having the right, it also has the right resources around the individual for that individual to be able to find his or her own independence.
Even her drinking, I asked her when we went away this week, and I said, you know, do you feel like you have the urge? And she says, no.
When you talk to the residents at the home, you can see that they feel like they are human beings and that they have something to offer and they have a life that they can start to enjoy.
Oh, it's a lifeline. It really is.
Well, my big goal right now is, in the last 2 years, the length of sobriety I've had is 4.5 weeks. If I can make it to next Wednesday, that's 5 weeks I've been sober. That's the longest I've been sober in 2 years.
You people have done and are doing an excellent job, and we are so relieved and we are so grateful, and we just hope for the best. And whatever support you need from family, you certainly have our support.
Try not to get emotional, but it has been fantastic, even to have that relationship again.
They are enjoying a wonderful quality of life and are choosing not to drink.
I don't think I'll be there for really too long. And then I can probably pretty well, I think I'm going to be all right now. I hope so.
We are making a difference in this world and in those individuals' lives.
I'm just very, very hopeful that it's something that in 10, 20 years that we sit down and do another interview again and say, boy, we can't even count on one hand or two hands how many success stories that we have.